History of Russia in detail, covering every part of their history. Early history. The first known people to set foot on Russian territory were the Sumerians, who ruled between 1000 and 700 BCE. They were followed by the Scythians in 700 BCE, a nomadic people who established a military state and defeated the Persians. The Scythians were eventually conquered by the Sarmatians in 3 BCE. The next major group to settle in Russia were the East Slavs, who arrived in the area around the 6th century CE. The East Slavs were a diverse group of people who spoke a variety of dialects. They lived in small villages and were primarily farmers. The rise of the Rus state. In the 8th century, the East Slavs came into contact with the Vikings, a seafaring people from Scandinavia. The Vikings, who were also known as Varangians, were skilled warriors and traders. They quickly established themselves as the dominant power in the region. In 862, the East Slavs invited a Varangian prince named Rurik to rule over them. Rurik founded the Rus state, which was centered in Novgorod. The Rus state was a loose confederation of East Slavic principalities. It was ruled by a series of princes who were descended from Rurik. The Kievan Rus. The Kievan Rus was the first major East Slavic state. It reached its peak of power in the 11th and 12th centuries. The Kievan Rus was a multi-ethnic state that included East Slavs, Vikings, and other peoples. It was a major trading power and played an important role in the development of Eastern Europe. The Kievan Rus declined in the 13th century due to a series of factors, including Mongol invasions, internal conflicts, and the rise of other states in the region. The Grand Duchy of Moscow. The Grand Duchy of Moscow emerged from the ruins of the Kievan Rus in the 14th century. It was ruled by a series of princes who gradually consolidated their power. The Grand Duchy of Moscow was a major power in Eastern Europe and played a leading role in the defense of the region against the Mongols. The Tsardom of Russia. In 1547, Ivan IV, the Grand Duke of Moscow, was crowned Tsar of Russia. The Tsardom of Russia was a centralized state that was ruled by an absolute monarch. The Tsars of Russia expanded the Russian Empire and made it one of the most powerful states in the world. The Russian Empire. The Russian Empire reached its peak in the 19th century. It was the largest empire in the world and included a diverse population of over 100 million people. The Russian Empire was a major player in international affairs and played a leading role in the Crimean War and the Russo-Japanese War. The Russian Revolution. The Russian Revolution of 1917 was a watershed moment in Russian history. The revolution overthrew the Tsarist government and established the Soviet Union, the world's first communist state. The Soviet Union was a totalitarian state that was ruled by a single party, the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was a major power in the 20th century. It played a leading role in World War II and the Cold War. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, but it continues to have a major impact on the world today. The Russian Federation. The Russian Federation was established in 1991 after the collapse of the Soviet Union. It is the successor state to the Soviet Union and is the largest country in the world. The Russian Federation is a democratic republic that is ruled by a president. Conclusion. The history of Russia is long and complex. It is a history of the rise and fall of empires, of wars and revolutions, and of the struggle for freedom and democracy. Russia is a country with a rich and unique history that continues to shape the world today.